So earlier this week on Raw, I did not watch all of Raw, but I did see the clips of this because I wanted to talk about it. There was a segment between Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, and where Liv Morgan is kind of playing like this obsessive female type and kind of like trying to seduce Dominic to get her way with him. And at one point, she's sending him lewd pictures on his phone. So then Dominic then goes to the goes into the back and it starts showing people the pictures of her on his phone. JD, what does that remind you of?
Well, that sounds exactly like the Vince McMahon lawsuit. I don't know what's
Yeah.
more unbelievable, the fact that Triple H is this stupid, which I actually do believe he's that stupid,
Yeah.
or that women would be interested in Dominic Mysterio. That's a tall mountain to climb for me.
Yeah, you know what? Like I don't know. They're absolutely spoofing Janelle Grant, right? Like
Yeah,
they have to be.
100%. Like, is this really a smart thing to do when you're in court, when you have the Department of Justice looking into? Well, I guess not looking at them because Vince is gone now. Maybe they're just maybe they think they're making fun of Vince, but it really sure comes off like they're making fun of the whole situation. It's
They're
gross and crass
Do-
and classless.
honestly, Dominic is playing Vince. And
Yeah.
like I think they're trying to make it seem like in this weird way. And if you guys think I'm crazy, because I do think, like, I saw some WWE like diehard defenders saying, "Oh, they would never do that. It's a complete coincidence." I'm like, okay, if it's a complete coincidence, let's say for instance complete coincidence. How stupid can you be? How legitimately how stupid can you be? And I look, Nick Khan, smart guy, right? TKO Endeavor, really smart people. Lee Fitting, the director of television, come over from ESPN Monday Night Football. I guarantee you he's a brilliant, bright guy. Triple H comes from that wrestling carny background to where you use your television show to get vengeance on your enemies. And this is right out of the Vince playbook. They did it for years. They would weave the real life into their storylines, especially when they felt like they were being attacked, and they would put themselves as sympathetic figures and make fools out of the ones that were coming after them. Anytime the federal government was coming after Vince, he would go on TV and kind of make fun of them for it, or he would create a storyline revolving around it because life is imitating art. That's exactly what I think this is. I can't prove it, and they'll never admit it, but it's pretty fucking similar. And they're making Dominic be the sympathetic figure, which is what they're trying to make Vince to be, which is right out of the Vince playbook.
Okay, now I'm not watching, so I gotta ask questions. How is Dominic a sympathetic figure? Isn't Dominic like the least sympathetic figure in WWE?
No,
Like, it feels like they're making fun of Vince by making Dominic good. Or am I just wrong because I'm not watching?
he's being used by this woman, this crazy woman. You
Oh,
know what I mean? Because
oh,
he was supposed to, in storyline, he's like with mommy Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan were enemies, right? Rhea Ripley's injured right now, so now Liv is trying to overtake Dominic and manipulate him to turn against the Judgment Day. I believe that's what's going with it. And so now she's being like crazy manipulative, sending lewd pictures, and now he's like showing his friends.
why is this not a bigger thing? Remember when MJF and Juice Robinson did the quarters thing and people lost their collective mind about that? But I mean,
which was disgusting too. But we know, JD, we know the answer to the question.
I know.
We already know the answer to the question because Legento has told him not to be upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, I mean, honestly, if something like this played out on AEW, Raj Giri, all over it.
Mm-hmm. You're right, but it's perfectly fine because WWE is the coolest show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I hate that company.
And they have the media manipulated here, and to where they won't really go after them for this stuff. Baby Huey says Liv is trying to get revenge on Rhea, so she's using Dominic to get revenge on Rhea. That's the storyline, and whatever that storyline, that's fine. The lewd pictures and him showing his friends overstepping because of the current situation that they're in. It makes no sense to do that. They have to either be really stupid or they are intentionally doing this to make light of the situation.
I truly believe Paul Levesque is stupid, but I don't think he's that stupid.
Yeah.
I do think he's that spiteful and that vengeful because we've seen that stuff over the years play out with him specifically. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. And now we got MVP, and I don't think this is getting enough coverage. Some sites have covered it, but MVP, he's essentially going the Kevin Kelly route almost, and I think he's trying to tweet himself out of a job because he's pretty upset. Hold on, here we go. Actually, King of the North is saying it right here. He's saying it for me. It says MVP accused Triple H of holding black talent down on Instagram and nobody covered it. I think it got a little bit, but like not even. It's not getting that much because I think, yeah, well, because it's basically an Instagram comments. So he's kind of like replying to people and doing emojis and like giving 100s as people are saying this stuff. He's like agreeing with them. So he's not outwardly saying it, but he's saying it.
Instagram doesn't get quite the scrutiny for like news stuff that Twitter gets to.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a different, I can kind of see that's still surprising though. Does that hold water?
I mean, if MVP saying it, I don't see him to be a dishonest person. And that's at least one man's perception. Now I don't know, like because MVP wanted the Hurt Business to come back, and he's saying the Hurt Business, which is MVP, Bobby Lashley, and I believe Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, who's not even in the company anymore.
Aren't the Street Shelton and okay.
Who?
Aren't the Street Profits in the Hurt Business too?
No,
I think
no.
Okay, my bad.
No. I think at one point Bobby Lashley was aligned with him, but that was like a short-lived thing. So, and people are saying we need the Hurt Business back, and MVP is saying that this is like a Triple H call, and the reason it's a racial thing to not have them back at this point. I think it's worth exploring.
I agree.
Now, it's really difficult to say that the entire company is this way. I mean, they're pushing several black stars, and several stars are right at the top of the company. But
TGV has a good comment. I buried him earlier, so I gotta give him some love.
Okay, hold on. So he's turning babyface.
He's babyface turning. I mean, I now love him.
Yeah. So he wore blackface in 1998, whenever the Generation X spoofed the Nation of Domination. X-Pac was dressed as Mark Henry, and Road Dogg. The first time Road Dogg did blackface was when he was pretending to be D'Lo Brown. He then him and Billy Gunn then redid that in TNA. No, actually, it was Billy Gunn that did it in TNA, and he was dressed as Devon. He went all the way.
Not good.
That you know what that didn't get really like nobody cared at the time because the show was just so outrageous. It was like. It was also one TNA. Of many offensive things they were doing, you know.
Yes, but it's also TNA. Like you can get away with stuff in TNA because, I hate to be this guy on this show, but not a lot of people watch.
Yeah, and then of course the Booker T storyline at TGV, the Booker T storyline. Look, there is a shred of this, and even if he doesn't treat people like that, you never know, man. I'm not going to outwardly say that that's what this is. But I think there's a little bit there that if somebody did some digging, they could probably get some people to speak on the record about some of their experiences. Because I think, look, and if it was even remotely true, it would get coverage everywhere. Because you remember what happened with Swole when Swole talked about it with Tony Khan, then all of a sudden it was everywhere. And now Tony Khan, idiot, decided to say what he said. Say no, she was just a crappy wrestler. Probably didn't need to go there. Just say, look, it's not true. Yes.
I mean, yeah.
You shouldn't do anything since then, but yeah. You have to kick somebody when they're down. You know what I mean?
Right. But, I mean, that was not a good move on his part. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think one couldn't ask that question.
Yeah,
based on history.
Yeah, I think it definitely warrants exploration.